I'm trying to get live here. Hopefully I'm doing it. Come on. Looks like we're live. I hope. All right. I think we're good. I am definitely running late. So I'll apologize to anyone who was trying to hop on earlier. I will be right back. We'll see if anyone's going to hop on. 30 seconds and we'll get started. All right. Looks like everything's updated here. Let's go do this. Pull this file up. Perfect. Pull that over here. All right. Only 6 minutes late. That's terrible. Just trying to race through traffic to get here. I've got a going to play an Pro Tour tournament in a week. I was trying to get some practice in. Did not manage my time well, but yeah, time for first stream in a little while. Pull up my notes over here. So there's going to be a few things we're going to cover in this stream. Some general news on Throw with the Pros, kind of update on where development's at. I'm going to talk about the latest update that went out in Throw with the Pros, which was version 1.0.10. Hit our 10th update in the app. Had some not overly new features, but quality of life updates and Throw with the Pros that I think are pretty important. We'll talk about some upcoming things in Throw with the Pros, a little bit of app growth, feature ideas that are on the back burner right now. And then at the very end, we'll have a little sneak peek into a new disc golf app that I'm going to be building alongside continued Throw with the Pros development. So I think that'll about cover it. Let's start off with Throw with the Pros news. So I'll pull up the app here I'll make sure this is still rolling live here. Yep. Okay. Throw with the Pros, I guess I sponsored my first disc golf tournament on behalf of Throw with the Pros. There was a women's only tournament in Salt Lake. That was a few weeks ago. First weekend in May, I think. Threw some signs up, added a little cash to the pro purse. Gave away discount codes to the pro subscription to all of the players there. In the player packs. So not sure how successful that marketing strategy was, but I think it's definitely the right crowd. Some low score shot at the tournament, so that was fun. Regardless of whether or not it was successful, it's not a huge capital spend, and it is something I enjoy doing. Got to go out there early in the morning and put up some signs, which I guess I don't have inside. I'd show them, but left them in my car. So did an event sponsorship. The ambassador team is officially kicked off. So I've got 4 members on the ambassador team currently. If anyone is really interested in doing that, you can still send me your info, and I will consider adding you to the team. But right now we have 4 members. Each of those ambassadors has their own code they can distribute to give away discounts in the app to potential users. And then ambassadors all earn a cut of whatever I make off of people using their code. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. Got 4 so far. Codes are all set up in the app, so it'll just be up to them to start distributing them now. Then last bit of update is the public round that I'm still intending to run with Throw with the Pros. That's going to be a round I'll host in Salt Lake City. We'll have some refreshments for people, and then we're going to play a round. It's going to be at Reed's Disc Golf Course, I think. And we'll do some challenges in the app. I'll give away prizes at the end. One of the main prizes, just because I've got it sitting next to me here, I went and got a buzzsaw from another round here in Salt Lake. Is that visible? Yeah. So we're going to be giving that away. It's got the cool yellow on the back, but that's going to be one of the prizes. We'll have some gift cards to another round, and then a whole bunch of discount codes and free currency in the app. So I think that's going to be really fun. I know I've talked about it previously, but my hope is that between the event sponsorships, ambassador team, and maybe running more public rounds in the future, that's those are my 3 best ideas right now for continuing to market and grow Throw with the Pros. So we're going to hope that those work well. Maybe at least start to build a little bit of a community around the app. That's the goal, at least. Next, we'll go through the latest app update. So I'll just pull this over here next to the phone so we can see both of them. So latest update, version 10. I'm just going to run through these in no particular order. Really, they're just in the order that I added them into the app. So first, global course list, now searchable by location. I was for a time live streaming the development of Throw with the Pros. These updates now, I work on them at such odd times and surely just one feature at a time that it wouldn't really be long enough for streams, I don't think. It's easier for me to just hop on for 15 minutes and knock them out. So I'm intending to just keep streaming Throw with the Pros for updates like this, any other major news with the app. But yeah, we'll go through everything in the latest version right now. So searchable by location. So previously you could search by name. So if I wanted to find that art die course, I could type in art, it would pop up. Now if I want to find all the courses in Utah, you can also just type in Utah. And obviously there's going to be some courses that aren't in Utah but still have a UT in them, like layout here at the end, but all of the Utah courses will also show up. So now searching by location as well. Email clients. So there were some issues with the app not always defaulting to the primary email app that the user had on their phone. So if you had an iPhone and primarily used Gmail, and had Gmail set up as your main app for email on your phone, the app would not necessarily default to that. Sometimes it would go to just the default Apple Mail app. I said that right. So that's been fixed. It'll always now default to whatever your primary email app is. For sharing courses, so clicking this request courses button here sends an email to me with the course information that you want. And then there's also the note to developer here, which if you have comment feedbacks on the app, that's a tool you can use to send me an email as well. So next was the new app icon. Obviously, everyone's probably seen this at this point, but this is our new icon. This is a new brand for Throw with the Pros. I think it looks quite a bit cleaner. I'm pretty happy with it. Got some hats I've been wearing in tournaments for the past couple months that have that logo as well. So new app icon, it's in there now. Join email list. Previously, that button also sent me an email stating that you wanted to join the email list. Now to make it easier, it just directs to the Throw with the Pros website. And there's a little spot there you can type in your email and click submit to join the newsletter. So that website's been there for a while. I think most of the email subscribers have come through that website. I think we're at something like 150 subscribers now to the email newsletters. But yeah, so that button now just directs you to the website. Sponsor discounts, there was a bug preventing those discounts from applying to disc-compatible purchases sometimes. That's been fixed. And at purchase performance improvements. That was a very general comment. I don't quite remember what that fix was. I know I had added the individual currency purchases at that point for No, that's not the right one. That's the Pro subscription. The buy currency sheet. I had added these. I think I just updated the pages here a little bit. This page and then the Become a Pro page. I think I might have just updated some of the information on this. I think. We're going to say that's what it was. Next, biggest update, I think, biggest part of this update was the new tutorial. The biggest complaint I'd gotten since releasing the app was that the tutorial was confusing and or hard to get through. A lot of people, I think, were getting stumped early on in the tutorial, not even making it to where all of the app was unlocked. And the tutorial was not overly long, but it required you to play a tournament and could take a while to get through. Not the goal. I can just chalk that one up to a lack of mobile app development experience on my end. But the tutorial has been completely reworked. I'm not going to go through it right now. But essentially, instead of it requiring you to go through the 18 different steps before everything on the screen became available, now on the first app launch, it pops up a message with a real brief summary of where everything is, how it works. It's very, I think, succinct. But once you dismiss that, the app is available. And then every single time you go into a new page like this, it'll pop up another little message with some hints, tips, and tricks. Also, all of those are very brief. But again, once you dismiss those, it goes away. You can still reset all of those tutorials here. Let's see if I have something I need to fix here. Confirm. There we go. So this is the screen you'll still get at the start of the app. Starting division, this doesn't reset anything. It just will either enable female protected divisions or leave it disabled. But this is the screen you'll get. And then once you hit dismiss, everything is available. It's going to pop up these messages because I reset it. And then every time you go into a new screen, it'll pop up something like this. But you dismiss it once, and they're gone. So that is the tutorial. That's the extent of the whole app tutorial at this point. I think the verbiage is all quite a bit cleaner. This is on an iPhone SE, so this is the phone that I have, and it's definitely one of the smallest screen sizes that exists for iOS and Android, and it all fits pretty well on these screens. So definitely pretty small on larger phones. But that is the tutorial. So now you click one button, all of the app is available. Hopefully that really lowers the barrier of entry for new users upon app downloads. I think that a lot of people were probably discouraged pretty quickly, which is my own fault, but hopefully that's fixed. If anyone has any additional comments on it, I'd love to hear them, but I think it's quite a bit cleaner now. That was the big focus with this update, but we have some smaller ones too. Become a Pro button, shop tutorial, so I didn't want that button to show until this tutorial had been completed. Now that it's completed, the button shows up. So minor one, but just didn't want it to be there until people had gone to the shop and understood what that was. First course all users start with in the app is now the fort. So previously, when you started the app, there was a test course here like this. That was the default for everyone, and then everyone as a part of the tutorial was required to add a course so that it would replace the test course. I did that. My thought process was that I wanted people to learn how to add courses, but now that I've expanded the global list as much as I have, there's a decent chance that, especially in Utah, where I'm going to be running a lot of these initial marketing efforts, a lot of the courses that people want to play are already here. So we have Roots, Valley Regional, Creekside, 3 main Salt Lake courses, Art Die, the Fort, Tetons. There are a lot of Utah courses in here. There's, I think, the most popular or top 5 most popular course. There's at least one in every single state as a part of the global list. So long story short, a lot of the courses that people may want to start playing on in the app are already in the app. So I don't necessarily need to force them to go through manually adding one. Now the fort will just be in automatically. So I'm kind of just bypassing the whole tutorial, giving you a legit course to start with. If you want to add more, you can. Obviously, you need to add the courses that you're actually going to play on while using the app. But for someone who wants to start with tournament at the Fort Golds, the app's ready to go for you. So reset the default course that everyone starts with. Other big part of this update was not hiding features. So previously in the app, there's so many features that weren't immediately available slash visible on the first app launch. So things like when you typically started in the app and you were creating a tournament, you would only see MA4, you would only see XC tier, you'd only see one round. This is all visible right now just because I've progressed pretty far in this simulated app that I've been testing on, but excuse me. When you first start the app, you wouldn't see them. And so now I think a lot of people didn't realize how much was actually in the app. Long story short, they went through a hard tutorial to get through. They got to this tournament. They're like, MA4XC tier only. This is kind of lame. There's a lot of pro features that aren't visible either. And I wanted people to immediately get a sense of what Throw with the Pros is actually about and is capable of. So now when you first launch the app, this is exactly what the screen is going to look like, with the exception that all of the things that you don't have unlocked yet, so these additional divisions, the additional tiers, they're just going to be grayed out. But you're going to be able to see that they are there, which is extremely important to me. I think it's going to make it clear to everyone that there is you have things to work towards in the app. There are things to unlock. That was definitely not obvious previously. And then the same thing with the settings. So there's lots of pro settings that become available. Some require the pro subscription. Some just require you to purchase one of the higher bags or discs. But features like adjusting payouts percentages, adjusting scoring colors for different holes, enabling an ace pot, renaming the AI. Lots of things that I think are all really cool features of Throw with the Pros that prior to this update, unless you had the pro subscription and bought the discs, which it takes a long time to progress in the app that far, there are things that you would never know existed. So those are all available now. Kind of the same thought process as including the Tour Life button here. I think before I added that button, most people who downloaded the app didn't know that Tour Life existed. Now the button's here, it's grayed out, but you can see that it's there. You can see that there's something to work for, and it tells you what it's about. So that was a big focus as well, is just making it easier to start in the app, making it clear as to all the things you have to work towards and try to unlock as you play through tournaments. So that was a big change. Ratings in multi-round tournaments. So there was a bug where sometimes in multi-round events, it would take your overall event score, so whatever your score total was through the second or third round, and it would give that a rating instead of what your individual round rating was. That was a pretty silly mistake on my part, but that's been fixed now. It does still show the total score, which I also missed. That doesn't affect your rating at all. It just shows your tournament score for your total tournament score as opposed to the individual round score. So that'll be fixed in the next update. But the ratings have at least been fixed. So they're showing the right ratings now. Add a little note. I think a lesser known detail about the pro subscription is that it doubles every single payout you receive in the app, which if your goal is to progress to some of the, I think, more exciting features, that helps quite a bit. Things like the Q tier tournaments and match play and new payouts and renaming things. Doubled payouts help. So I added a little button there that'll pop up that same just option to become a pro. It doesn't show it automatically. I'm trying to convey the benefits of the pro subscription while making it not trying to keep it from being annoying. I want it to be present but not distract from usage of the app. So and then this I already went through. The pro settings are now visible in the settings menu. Yeah, so that is about it. That's what came out in the last update. That's live on iOS and Android as of last week, I think. What else? So other changes coming to Throw with the Pros. Let's see what I wrote down. I was trying to get ready for this earlier. Currently looking at maybe some potential advertising opportunities for Throw with the Pros. We'll see if anything comes of those. But trying to connect with some people who are better at growing things like this than I am. I definitely need to get better at it. But I also know it's not one of my strengths. hence why I'm kind of trying to run this ambassador team to maybe find some people who are better at it than I am. Potential new features. So I guess we'll start with the easy ones. What's probably going to come out in the next update. I'm going to implement push notifications in the app, also with the intention of not being annoying, but it'll just send single reminders for either if you haven't used the app in a really long time, just so you know it still exists, and reminders for when you have ongoing tournaments, so 2 or 3 round tournaments that you need to finish. So I'll add notifications for those. Renaming the AI. So I think I'm actually going to make it free to rename the AI only the first 7. So you would be able to rename all the AI in an X tier tournament. Any tournaments beyond that where the field is bigger, your 7 that you changed would still be there, but the rest of them would be the default names. So renaming the first 7 would be for free. Renaming all of the ones after that would require the pro subscription and you having the right collector disc. And then I'm going to have some changes to how courses are added manually. I think this process is not overly intuitive for a lot of people. That's probably the second biggest complaint I've gotten, and I want to make that easier. So that'll be a focus as well. Beyond immediate updates, I've got quite a few potential bigger ideas to implement in the app. Some I've kind of started working on. All of them are a ways out from being actually released in an update. But they're bigger, more exciting. First one is a new rating system in the app. I think there are a lot of ways to make that much more accurate and relevant in the app. My intention is not to only improve how ratings are calculated, but also create a little bit more dependency in the app on your in-app ratings. So things like unlocking sponsors, earning currency, access to certain tournaments. I want those all to be in the future based off of a rating. So that'll be a bit of an endeavor, but on the list right now. Next is going to be the skins format. So right now there's normal stroke play tournaments. There's the finale and tour life where everyone starts with a stroke advantage, depending on where you placed in the standings. And there's match play. All of those are in the app functioning as intended. I think the next format for me to add is going to be skins, which is obviously going to function kind of like match play, where you can see where the opponents are landing, where they're throwing from, but it'll just be a card of 4 people instead of 2. A little bit more complicated logic to go into that as far as whose turn is it, what the strategy of the AI is in terms of whether they're trying to run shots, take on risk, etc. But the skins format is something on my to-do list to add into the app, so that might come at some point. Tea time scoring. So right now, if you are scoring in a tournament, it's kind of like the first round of a Jomez video where you see everyone's score on the same hole. So after you score hole 1, you see everyone's score after they were done with hole 1. And then hole 2, hole 3, so on and so forth. There's not a breakout of where people are actually at on the course. So a future feature to add into the app would be tea time scoring, where maybe based on your rating in the app or something else, depending on whether it's just a regular one-off tournament or it's part of tour life, you would actually have a tea time. Not that you would have to necessarily hit that tea time in real life, but that you would see, there would be AI who hadn't started playing the course yet. There would be some that have already finished. Kind of create a more legit tournament feel. And then the last potential update is preset tournaments. This one is still kind of up in the air. I'm not sure if it's something I want to implement. There's a few things I would probably need to happen first, but things like going to the fort and replaying the 2021 Worlds Tournament, where all the scores are there just like they occurred in that tournament, and you could it'd be like you replaying that, except that you're a part of the field now. And I would do that for a lot of prominent tournaments all over the world. They would take a little while to add. I'm not sure if I think that would be fun to use. So if anybody feels really strongly one way or another as to whether that's a good idea, let me know. Love to hear it. And I think that's about it for Throw with the Pros. So update number 10 is live. Still have some immediate features I'm going to work on pretty soon. And I've still got long-term ideas that I could, spend the rest of the year implementing and Throw with the Pros. But I think, at least for right now, there's probably enough features in it, and I should be focusing a little bit more on growing the user base as opposed to continuing to add features. So they'll probably sit on the back burner right now unless someone sees this and I get some comments that people really want to see a specific feature in the app. But that'll probably be about it for right now. And then last but not least is maybe a potential app sneak peek. So I have started development of a new disc golf app. It's called C1X. It is focused solely on stat keeping and display of, I'll say, detailed metrics for people to focus on improving their game. Obviously, there are stat keeping apps that already exist for disc golf. The two things that I want C1X to do differently, the two things that it will do differently, are I want input to be much more simpler. So things that I don't like about current stat keeping apps, or I don't like using GPS features. I don't like it trying to track where my shots land. It's never accurate enough. It typically drains my phone battery. It takes too long. I want it to be simple button taps that aren't really distracting from the round. So that's one thing that I want C1X to do differently. In addition to not distracting from the rounds, it's also going to come with a companion watch app, so you can track your stats just from your watch. So it'll be built in the sense that you never have to pull out your phone. Not to start the round, not to track your stats, and not to save them as a part of the app. Viewing stats would all have to take place on the phone just because that's a lot of information to convey, and I don't think a watch app would do that well. But everything for starting a round and entering it could all be done through the watch app. That would be the goal. And then secondly is just more detailed information. Obviously, you can track driving and putting stats in disc golf apps, and C1X will do that. But I want users to have the option to go into more detail. So I know for my own game, I want to see, I missed 5 C1X putts. Where on the basket did I miss them? I missed all my drives. Was I early releasing? Was I grip locking? Was I missing high, low, maybe a little bit of everything? Things like that. I want the option to track those as well, as seamlessly as I would just normal scorekeeping. So yeah, that's what I'm building it with the intent of. I have, to be clear, I have, just like Throw with the Pros, I built C1X once already. I built Throw with the Pros and C1X both solely for iOS using Swift. That was in 2023, I think, is when those were launched. I learned Flutter and Dart so that I could build for Android as well. And then in the process of doing that, decided I was going to rebuild Throw with the Pros entirely, which is obviously what we're looking at here. And I intend to do the same thing with C1X. So we're going to build it from scratch. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Excited to be building something new. One thing I will be doing with C1X is streaming the entire development of that app live. So I've actually already started. C1X has a YouTube channel. It's I think C1X_disc golf. Let's go confirm that real quick. I was going to do the first stream for development last night. YouTube made it a little challenging for me to do that first stream, so that one didn't happen, but all future videos will be streamed live. So here is the channel. C1X is on Instagram. This is the handle on YouTube. And then C1X has a landing page as well with an email newsletter that you can subscribe to. But all of the development of this app will be streamed live on this YouTube channel. That is my goal, at least. I'm going to try and stick with it. The app is already coming along. I did do the initial app setup all off stream, but after this first video, courses are working, round management's working. I think that this app is going to go pretty quick. I'm thinking like maybe 10 or 11 more streams, and I'll have at least a prototype ready for testing. So that's going to be the goal. But I'll be streaming them all live here. If you follow C1X on Instagram, I'll post the day of for each live stream, what time. So that's where you can figure out where they're going to be. But yeah, we're doing the live streams. We have social medias set up. I think that's about it. Yeah. I am hoping my biggest goal with C1X and something I want to do differently with it as opposed to what I did with Throw with the Pros is that I want to engage potential users and beta testers much earlier. I basically got Throw with the Pros to a kind of finished product before anyone ever really heard about it, at least the remake, and I don't want to do that with C1X, which is a big part of the reason why I'm doing these streams. For one, it just forces me to sit down for at least an hour and focus solely on coding, which speeds up the process quite a bit. I don't get distracted. But it also, hopefully, will give people the opportunity who are interested in the app to hop on, interact with me as I'm building the app, and most importantly, provide feedback on things that they want to see, things they don't like about the way the app looks currently. This is Throw with the Pros is it's a fairly complicated, involved app. C1X, the goal is for it to be as simple as possible, as intuitive to use as possible, and really just for people to try and improve, to make it as easy as possible to track your stats, hopefully easier than every single other stat keeping app that exists currently, and also give you all kinds of data as to where your main weaknesses are, where your strengths are, how you can improve faster. So that is the goal. I probably won't mention it again on this channel. Obviously, you know where to find it now. But yeah, I'll probably post once for it on the Throw with the Pros Instagram as well, just to let people know that C1X exists. Yeah, I think that's about it. Don't think I have anything else to talk about. We covered the update. We covered C1X. As always, if anybody wants to reach out, you can use the Note to Developer tool and Throw with the Pros. My email's on the Throw with the Pros and C1X websites. You can message either account on Instagram. All of that is managed, created, run by me, so I will see it all. Yeah. Excited for these upcoming developments in both apps, and hopefully we'll keep moving forward. So thanks to anybody who finds this after the fact, and we'll see you in the next one.